dolls, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to talk about the year 1974 on my journey from the 1960s to the end of the 1970s. I am mainly focusing on the music, the fashion, and the film. As always, I am mainly focusing on the US and the UK in these videos, while also dabbling in world history. Make sure to check out all the previous episodes. I started on December 1st with the year 1960, and I've already made my way all the way up to 1974, and also make sure to subscribe to not miss out on the rest of the 1970s. But now let's focus on the mid-1970s. Welcome to 1974. 1974, a year of transformation, tension, and triumph. As the world navigated the challenges of an evolving decade, 1974 stood out as a time of reckoning and redefinition. It was a year marked by the aftermath of dramatic political events, the continued rise of countercultural movements, and the pursuit of innovation across art, music, and fashion. The echoes of previous upheavals resonated deeply, even as society sought new pathways forward. Politically, the year was dominated by moments of dramatic change, from President Richard Nixon resigning amid the Watergate scandal to global economic uncertainty in the wake of the oil crisis. These events reshaped public trust and underscored the complexities of power in an increasingly interconnected world. Culturally, 1974 was a melting pot of styles and ideas, where the bold glamour of disco met the raw edge of punk's earliest rumblings. Music celebrated both excess and introspection, as artists pushed boundaries and new genres began to take shape. In fashion, individuality reigned supreme, with eclectic influences ranging from bohemian chic to high-octane glam rock, shaping the era's unique aesthetic. Cinema captured the spirit of the times, producing groundbreaking films that questioned authority, explored human frailty, and offered moments of escapism. At the same time, the visual and performing arts reflected the uncertainties and ambitions of a generation caught between idealism and pragmatism. Economically, socially, and artistically, 1974 was a year that encapsulated the challenges and triumphs of an era in flux, offering a vivid snapshot of a world in search of identity and purpose. 1974 was a year of cultural upheaval and transformation. In the US, the Watergate scandal culminated in President Richard Nixon's historic resignation, with Gerald Ford stepping in as the president amid an energy crisis and economic turmoil. Globally, the oil embargo ended in March, but its effect lingered, driving inflation and prompting nations to seek alternative energy solutions. Diplomatically, the détente between the US and the UdSSR advanced through armed control talks as China cemented its role as a global player in politics. Despite crisis, 1974 marked a turning point, laying the groundwork for shifts in power and new path towards resolutions. I'm drawing out the price development in the US from 1960 to 1979 by comparing the same three products in every single video: the cost of a house, a movie ticket, and a loaf of bread, as well as telling you the annual household income to put everything into perspective. In 1974, a bread was somewhere around 28 to 30 cents. A movie ticket would set you back $1.87, while a new house cost around $34,900, while the annual income was somewhere around $13,900 per household. Fashion in 1974 was a bold and eclectic mix of styles, reflecting both the creative freedom of the decade and its distinctive aesthetic quirks. Earth tones dominated, with shades like rust, wine red, bottle green, burnt orange, and brown forming the cornerstones of everyday wardrobes. These muted hues were a departure from the psychedelic palette of the late 1960s, signaling a shift toward neutral, subdued colors, often accented with harvest yellows and avocado greens. Yet, true to the unpredictability of 70s fashion, vibrant and unconventional color combinations like red and yellow or orange and brown continued to appear, showcasing the decade's playful approach to style. That is kind of what inspired my look for today. I'm wearing this dreamy vintage dress with all these fall colors, and just everything about this screams 1970s. The smocked top, the kind of like different patterns on the sleeves and on the bust. It also has that down here, but I'm going to show you a video right there. I really love it. And then I accessorized with a really popular item in the 1970s, a head wrap. This one's from my grandma from the 1970s, and I absolutely adore it. I'm also wearing these platform shoes that I think are just so perfect. And overall, the kind of idea of having an open-toed shoe, but then wearing it with some colored tights was really popular in the mid-1970s. Silhouettes in 1974 were equally diverse. Flares ruled in trousers, often made from polyester blends like Trevira or Crimplen, and sometimes even crafted from luxurious wool crepes. Shirts were lean, body-hugging, and topped with oversized collars, frequently double top-stitched for durability against the decade's synthetic fabrics. Skirts typically featured A-line cuts, diagonal checks, and swingy fullness. often crafted in jersey knits. Coats followed suit with trapeze lines and flared hems, even in otherwise tailored styles. Accessories like mood rings, sequined halter tops, and wrap dresses added a layer of personality, while the zodiac craze influenced jewelry and overall styling. That is why I decided to go with this stone. I feel like the entire idea of this kind of like stone jewelry was super popular in the 1970s amidst everyone looking for their zodiac sign. Diane von Furstenberg's wrap dress became an iconic statement piece of 1974, epitomizing the decade's emphasis on effortless glamour, freedom, and practicality. Introduced in 1973, it skyrocketed in popularity, cementing Diane's status as one of the most influential designers of the 1970s. I feel like when you look at a picture of the wrap dress, it is kind of hard to understand why it was so significant. So I want to try to kind of explain that. The wrap dress was a jersey knit garment that wrapped around the body and tied on the waist, creating a V neckline and hugging your curves without needs for zippers or buttons. It was flattering on a wide variety of body types and offered ease of movement, making it just as comfortable as it was stylish. I actually have a wrap dress in that exact style. If I find a picture, I'm gonna put it up here. I adore it. I feel like wrap dresses are such incredible pieces. The wrap dress also arrived at a pivotal moment in fashion history. In the 1970s, women were embracing new levels of independence, both socially and professionally. Diane herself marketed the dress as a symbol of empowerment, often saying, "Feel like a woman, wear a dress." Its versatility meant it could be worn in the office, to a dinner party, or even on a date, perfect for the modern woman. By 1974, the wrap dress became a bestseller. Diane von Furstenberg sold over 1 million dresses in the mid-1970s, making it one of the defining pieces of the decade. Its affordability, functionality, and elegant simplicity resonated deeply with women of all backgrounds. The dress was often produced in bold, colorful prints, which reflected the vibrant and adventurous spirit of the 1970s. Paired with platform heels and minimalist jewelry, it became a signature look of the decade. After launching her eponymous brand in 1972, Diane debuted the wrap dress in September of 1973. By 1974, it had gained widespread recognition and marked the beginning of its iconic status. Its success aligned with the rise of disco and an emphasis on ready-to-wear fashion. If you didn't notice, Diane von Furstenberg pretty much still makes the exact same dresses, and they've been a bestseller ever since. The wrap dress has truly never really gone out of style, and it doesn't really seem like it is going anywhere soon. It remains a symbol of timeless design, and it's often celebrated as a groundbreaking piece that redefined what fashion could mean for women. Diane von Furstenberg described it as not just a dress, but a tool for life. The influence of leisure wear also grew, with denim and safari-style jackets reigning as popular outerwear choices. Meanwhile, fashion embraced both practical and flamboyant elements. Turtlenecks and skinny-ribbed sweaters with hip yoke skirts provided a streamlined, casual elegance, while plaid suits and daring printed shirts captured the era's fearless love for statement-making attire. Whether you admire it for its innovation or shake your heads at its audacious combinations, the fashion of 1974 embodied a sense of liberation and individuality, unafraid to blend practicality with exuberant self-expression. The music scene in 1974 was a dynamic tapestry, reflecting the shifting cultural currents of the mid-1970s. Rock music remained a dominant force, with the burgeoning diversity of styles and subgenres, capturing the public's imagination. Glam rock was at its peak, with artists like David Bowie, who released Diamond Dogs, and Queen, whose Sheer Heart Attack cemented their rise to fame. Speaking of it, I need to change the record because I have a first copy. I actually have a copy of the Sheer Heart Attack. Don't mind me quickly intersecting this video to tell you that this is an original pressing. It's unfortunately a little damaged. I got it and it was already not in the best condition. But look at this. Isn't it so cool? I really adore it. What a great pressing. It also still spins fine. I just need to find some like really durable glue to put it all together. I'm sorry, America, but this one just has to be here for now. Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road tour continued to draw massive crowds, showcasing his flamboyant persona and hit-packed catalog. Meanwhile, hard rock and proto-metal surged with bands like Led Zeppelin, especially the Physical Graffiti sessions, and Deep Purple maintaining their legacies. The Southern rock movement gained momentum, with Lynyrd Skynyrd and the Allman Brothers delivering bluesy anthemic tracks. Across the Atlantic, progressive rock bands like Genesis, audiences with their record The Lamp Lies on Broadway, and yes, pushed boundaries with elaborate concepts and virtuistic performances. Disco also began dominating the airwaves and dance floors, setting the stage for a cultural explosion later in the decade. Hits like George McRae's Rock Your Baby showcased the genre's infectious rhythm and energy. Soul and funk flourished, with Stevie Wonder releasing his masterpiece Fulfillingness First Final, and Parliament delivering the groove-heavy Up for the Downstroke, ushering the era of P-Funk. Folk rock and singer-songwriter styles offered introspective counterpoints, as artists like Joni Mitchell with Court and Spark, and Bob Dylan with Planet Waves, and Jackson Browne produced deeply personal and poetic works. Country music also saw crossover success, with Dolly Parton's Jolene becoming a timeless hit. On the global stage, reggae gained prominence, with Bob Marley and the Wailers releasing Natty Dread, featuring classics like No Woman, No Cry. Meanwhile, the rise of punk was still in its infancy, bubbling under the surface as a reaction to the excess of mainstream rock and the socio-political landscape. Music festivals like the California Jam in the US and the Reading Festival in the UK continued to thrive, celebrating the communal experience of live music. With its vast array of sounds and styles, 1974 was a year of innovation and transition, paving the way for future musical revolutions. The film industry in 1974 delivered a slate of groundbreaking works that reflected the cultural anxieties and creative boldness of the decade. It was a year of cinematic excellence, with several films now considered classics debuting across genres. It is safe to say that in 1974, the crime genre dominated. And it is clear as day that The Godfather Part 2, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, stood out as a masterpiece. It served as both a sequel and a prequel to The Godfather, deepening the saga of the Corleone family and winning 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Roman Polanski's Chinatown, a neo-noir thriller, explored corruption and greed in 1930s Los Angeles, with Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway delivering iconic performances. Meanwhile, The Conversation, also directed by Coppola, reflected the paranoia of the Watergate era, centering on surveillance and privacy. Comedy took bold and irreverent turns. Mel Brooks released 2 satirical hits, Blazing Saddles, a wild parody of Western that tackled racism with sharp humor, and Young Frankenstein, a loving homage to the Universal monster movies. These films cemented Brooks' reputation as a master of comedy. On the darker side of humor, Lina Wertmüller's Swept Away offered biting social commentary through its provocative, politically charged narrative. Horror continued to evolve with Tobe Hooper's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It introduced audiences to a visceral, low-budget nightmare that became a landmark of the genre. Brian De Palma's Phantom of the Paradise blended horror, musical, and comedy elements into a cult classic. Additionally, Black Christmas pioneered the slasher subgenre, setting the stage for future classics like Halloween. In action-adventure, disaster films remained popular, with Earthquake and The Towering Inferno delivering spectacle and star-studded casts. The latter, starring Paul Newman and Steve McQueen, was particularly notable for its massive scale and groundbreaking special effects. James Bond returned in The Man with the Golden Gun, with Roger Moore as 007, adding a touch of crime to the spy series. On the international scene, Ingmar Bergman's Scenes from a Marriage explored intimate and raw human emotions. The films of 1974 perfectly captures the year's mistrust of authority, social upheaval, and fascination with anti-heroes. Filmmakers were unafraid to delve into morally complex and politically charged narratives, resulting in stories that resonated deeply with their audiences. It was a year that pushed creative boundaries, blending commercial appeal with artistic ambition, ensuring its place as one of cinema's most influential years. As someone who has seen every single one of these films, even the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, even though I hated it because I don't do horror films, I can just assure you that every single one of these films is a true classic. My personal favorite is Chinatown, as I'm a big Roman Polanski fan, not of him and his personal things, but I feel like his directorial work is unmatched. He's an incredible director, and the casting of Faye Dunaway and Jack Nicholson just makes that film absolutely perfect. So if you ever want to take a look at the most amazing 1970s films, maybe start in 1974 because it truly had so much to offer. So what does 1974 really add up to? As 1974 came to a close, it was clear the year had left an indelible mark on history, culture, and art. It was a time of transition where the turbulence of the past intersected with the promise of change, from the political upheavals that reshaped leadership and public trust to the artistic innovations that challenged conventions and opened new creative frontiers. 1974 encapsulated the complex spirit of the 1970s. The music, fashion, and film of the year reflected a society caught between reckoning with its past and boldly exploring its future. The glamour of disco, the grit of emerging punk, and the introspection of singer-songwriters provided a soundtrack to a world in flux. Similarly, the eclectic fashion trends and groundbreaking cinema of the time highlighted a generation unafraid to blend practicality with audacity and innovation with nostalgia. In many ways, 1974 was a microcosm of the decade, a period of contrasts and contradictions, where bold creativity coexisted with deep uncertainty. It was a year that challenged norms, celebrated individuality, and paved the way for cultural revolutions that would echo far in the future. Tomorrow we'll dive into 1975, the year that brought the Cher Show and the end of Bieber. But that is it for 1974. Of course, I cannot end the video without having a cup of tea. This one is lemongrass and melissa balm. It smells really good. Oh, this is nice. I still have a little bit of a scratchy voice. The cold hasn't fully faded, so this is definitely nice. But I want to thank you for watching this video. Of course, I cannot cover everything that happened in the year, so if there's something you felt like really important adding to this video, leave a comment down below and tell me all about it. If you enjoyed the video, I would love you to give it a thumbs up and maybe even share it with a friend. It supports me, it supports the channel, and it would truly mean the world. I hope you have a beautiful day. Go out, enjoy the sunshine, and hopefully the snow. Take yourself some time to focus on you and your mental health today, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, dolls!
Imagine you're surprised.